Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spiritually Fucked podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Mulholland. Let's get into the show. The Joe Dispenza experience, coherence, commitment, and it's definitely a cult. Hello, everyone. What is up? Let me just update you really quick with what's going on in my life right now. So it's the second week of January. And I am leaving for India in 2 weeks. I'm going on a 5-week adventure, actually starting next week. The lineup is pretty crazy. I'm going to super secret, top secret location, and then I'm going to go to India. And so I just feel like going on a podcast rampage and recording as many episodes as I can this week before I leave, so I can put my heart out there before I abandon you guys once again. And today we are talking about the Joe Dispenza experience. And I really want to talk about this, not only to flex on all of you that I've been to 3 retreats, but no, but really, it has been such an incredible community, life-changing experience, and I get a lot of questions on it. And the reason I am just obsessed with Daddy Joe is because he teaches you that you can create a life full of love and create whatever the fuck you want just by returning and connecting to your heart. That's it, you guys. His meditations are like, let's connect to your heart. Let's connect to your pineal gland and let's send out your heart. Let's get it out there and your dream life will come to you. And that's exactly what's happened to me. And maybe a part of the reason why I'm talking about this is to remind myself of that, because I go through phases of being really into the work and really out of the work. And I started to be really into the work again. And I've been reminded that we are creators of our life when we commit. And I am committed now. And I need a little refresher, and so I'm going to refresh you guys too. And so, yeah, I'm going to India for 3 weeks. And I don't know, you guys. I need to talk about it because I am so in the surrender experiment right now in my life, and which is why I'm kind of getting back into the work that reminds me of what frequency I actually want to be living in, because there's so much fucking up in the air in my life right now. Like, you guys don't even know the half of it, but part of the reason or my intention for going to India is to disconnect from my regular life and really embody and step into the frequency I want to create when I'm not in my typical everyday life. That's why I love traveling. That's why I fucking love leaving my current environment, because, you know, that quote, it's like you can't heal in the environment that created it. And I think part of that is true. I think it's just a lot harder and you need a lot more meditation or a lot more commitment. And right now I've just been kind of in this environment that I am in right now. And as much as I can see and feel and connect to that future self or that bigger life I want to create, when you are surrounded by this container or your everyday life that is habitual, you gotta just work extra, extra hard to embody the things that you want. And maybe I haven't been working that hard, but and I know it's like, okay, am I escaping to India to escape my current situation? And no, I don't think it's that at all. I think it's more of like, obviously, I have a lot of intentions for India. Like, I want to fucking experience the world. I want to see what the fuck is over there. And I know it's definitely going to humble the fuck out of me and realize how grateful I am for my everyday life here and all that goodness. But overall, the spewing, again, I don't come with notes, is just getting out of your current environment and stepping into a fucking unknown place that is a third world country. And what frequency are you going to embody in that? And am I going to embody this version of me that's no longer serving me, or am I going to fully fucking step into the person who is creating this dream life? And again, I'm kind of twiddling with this idea that, time isn't real and it is all one. And why is my future self feeling far away? Like, why can't I connect to it right now? Well, I'm a human being and I can see that I'm not driving the Range Rover I want, or I'm not living in my own dream house. Like, I'm very much in this material reality, but I'm continuously, and that's why I'm recording this podcast so I can remind myself and remind others, I'm continuously embodying that person who does feel safe with an abundance, who does feel like she can support herself, because I haven't in the past. I haven't felt safe supporting myself. That's why I fucking still live at home with my mommy. And right now I live at home, and I will not be living here in the next few months because our lease is up and I'm moving out, and it's really scary. I mean, I'm going to be 30 in May, and that's the same time I I get to move out. And it's like this, again, surrender experiment. I really have to surrender not only to myself, but to God and to the experience, and to trust. And I have to be able to trust myself to be able to afford rent, or being able to support myself outside of my mommy. And that's fucking scary. And so when you are constantly living at home in the environment where your mom has supported you your whole life, I mean, granted, you guys, I've paid for most of my life, but she supports my rent, okay? I don't have to pay rent. And so I'm sitting in this house that I don't have to take care of. And to being able to embody the frequency of someone who can, like, take care of their own house, like living in their mommy's house, like, it's just, it's not that you can't do it. It's just, what if I was in a third world country and I was embodying that I can take care of myself. I can support myself when I am in a fucking place that I have absolutely no support but myself. And that's kind of what one of my intentions is going into the trip, and also just a reflection for you to look at and see, okay, what is my habitual environment? And is it supporting me in my growth? And if it's not supporting me in my growth, how can I shift it? You don't need a trip. You don't need to leave. But maybe you can change your mindset, or maybe do like a little thing every week. Like, I've been clocking in moments when I do support myself. Like when I do buy my own groceries. Like, I'm clocking in the fact that I am supporting myself for buying my own groceries. Or, oh, I bought myself a fucking coffee today. I didn't need this, but I got to give myself a treat today. And it's like clocking in those micro moments that are reminding yourself and setting yourself up for safety. So that's 8 minutes in. How's that for an intro? But I just needed to spew in what's alive in my life right now. And especially for probably recording a podcast every day this week, I wanted to really just express and spew out how I'm feeling, where I'm at in my life, and what to expect if you are listening. And if you are listening, thank you so much. And let's get into the show. The Joe Dispenza experience, why you're here. Maybe you don't like Joe Dispenza and you're here and you're listening. And maybe you do love Daddy Joe Dispenza, and maybe I've met you at a Joe Dispenza event. And, different strokes for different folks, but I'm stroking Daddy Joe, okay? He has been a catalyst in my healings, and let's just start from the beginning. And I started with his book, Becoming Supernatural, because after my ayahuasca retreat in Costa Rica, don't you love when stories start off like that? I came home and was like, I'm going to embody this creative artist. How can I do that? So you know what I did? I went on Amazon and I said, books for creativity. And you know what came up? Was Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza. And again, I've been in the polarity therapy, cranial sacral energy world, so I knew about chakras and all this shit, and energy and whatever, and manifesting and all that. But I bought his book. And before that, I read Mind to Matter, or I tried to. I probably didn't fucking finish it. Story of my life. Sometimes I just look at books and like hold them, and I feel like I absorbed all the information I needed and I don't need to read them anymore. Does anyone else feel that? And is that an ego thing to say, or am I a fucking mind reader? Like, I literally looked at the book Spirit Babies, and like a week later my spirit babies came to me. Like, if you also have this ability, please reach out because it's really interesting. But I got the book. I actually finished the book, and I think I've probably read it a couple times now. But I was like, wait, he's teaching you how to heal your body with meditation. I'm like, what? What? This is possible? And he talks about energy centers, which from the flip side is chakras pretty much. Chakras, actually. They're pronounced chakras. And I also have to mention this, if you're on YouTube, I'm looking very feral right now, and I'm kind of digging it. I'm wearing my Paris sweater because I miss Petty. And I am mentioning this is because my setup right now, I'm literally staring at myself through an iPad, and it's just really funny the way I look right now. But anyways, back to the episode. Back to the epi. So I ordered this fucking book off Amazon, and because I want to be creative, okay? I want to be creative. Doesn't everyone want to be creative? Like, come on. So I read the book, and it's interesting how that was the book that came up when I was looking up creativity, but it makes sense is because you're just connecting to yourself and you're refreshing your energy centers. Like, hello, creativity unlocked. And I read the book and it talked about neuroscience, and I literally could fucking care less about neuroscience. Like, you guys, I really don't care how the brain works. Like, I'm such an energy feminine being. When I start to think about neuroscience, like, it takes so long for me to grasp a subject because I'm so nonlinear. Like, I can feel something and like understand it, but when it comes to like an equation, I'm like, what the fuck? I finally feel at a very good place right now with neuroscience. I'm not an expert, but I guess some people need the scientific view. I could fucking throw science out the window forever and be okay with it. But some people need the scientific view, and he gives that. So you're welcome. Like, scientist, you're welcome. He gives that. So I read the book, and then I also watched the series on Gaia, which is like Netflix, but for spiritual nerds. You know, they talk about aliens and chemtrails. Like, it's a cool app. And he has this series called Rewired, and it's literally talking about that book, but you don't have to read it. Like, it's the book, but in video series. So read both, or watch one, read the other. Like, if you do both, you're doing good work. And so I read the book, and then I started meditating because the book comes with like meditations. And then I watched the series on Rewired, and I'm like, wow, like, let's just try this. Let's just go full force and try this. And you know what happened is I started loving my life again, because I started remembering who I was by connecting with myself. I connected to my root chakra, my sacral chakra, my solar plexus, and upward, all the chakras. And then I started to feel calmer and safer in my body. And, oh, my digestion started working better because I'm simply connecting to my gut. Like, things just started flowing because I was connecting to myself, and I also was sitting in silence. And his meditations aren't really in silence, but they're in a space where you are kind of focusing on his words, or you're focusing on yourself pretty much. He's just guiding you to focus on yourself, like, connect to your first energy center. So you're laying in bed with your eyes closed, connecting to your first energy center, and you go up from there, and it's like, oh, this just makes sense. I probably became more creative after that just because I fucking set the intention. That's how this life works, pretty much. You set the intention and you start doing actions towards that, and lo and behold, you become it. And so that's where I started, is the book and the Rewired series. And I just want to forewarn y'all, you can find his meditations on YouTube, but literally I would not even bother. They're trash. They're absolute trash. There is one meditation you do on YouTube from him. It is the Go Love meditation. It's 15 minutes. That's like a universal one that all of us at the retreats do. And like, just, that's the only one I would do, to be honest. The other ones are just absolute trash. Like, it's shame. It's a shame. Invest in them. invest in them or find someone who has them all. Okay, I read the book, I watched the series, and then, you start to get into his work and then you find out he does these retreats and it's like, okay, I want to do a retreat. And so I knew to do a week-long advanced retreat, you have to do the progressive online course. And the progressive online course is like $300. It is worth money, you guys. Like, fucking do it. It is so impactful, so good. It's the first start. You have to do that course before you go to a week-long advanced retreat. And so I wanted to go to the week-long advanced retreat. This is like 2021, 2022. And I knew I wanted to go to a retreat. And so I just said, fuck it, I'm going to spend the money. I had no right spending that money at that time, but I had every right. And so I bought it. I said, I'm going to go full force in this. I'm going to experience this fully. And I, watched the course, and he pretty much just reminds you that you are the creator of your life. To step into the unknown, which is really creating safety within the uncertainty. And that alone is such potent medicine. And that's kind of what I'm going into India. I don't know what the fuck to expect over there. It is so uncertain. But finding comfort in that, safety in that, can only happen if I create that comfort and safety within myself by connecting to this unknown space every day and breathing and saying I am safe and I can trust myself. And that's what the workshop kind of teaches. And it teaches you, the neuroscience BS of it. It's not BS. It's totally valid. But like, who fucking cares? Like, I guess some people care. Okay. I'm being really biased. But I'm being energy worker biased. I'm being empath biased. I think that's what it is. Because I can just feel that it works and I don't have to know that it works. Okay, anyways. I've annoyed myself enough with that. So, okay, back to the story. So I bought the fucking program and it came with 2 meditations, which is tuning into new potentials, and I don't even know what it's called because I'm always in the Twilight Zone when I click on it. It's tuning into new potentials and fuck, I don't know. There's 2 45-minute meditations and 2 breath works it came with. I did those every single day. I'd wake up in the morning, first thing I did. And then I started waking up at 4 a.m. That's just what you do. Your body starts to want to meditate. And your pineal gland is at its peak state when it's at 4 a.m. There's the highest form of melatonin, and so you can fucking blast off into space. Anyway, so I just did the meditations every day before I got out of bed. And he teaches you that you must sit up. And if you go to the retreats, you're sitting up. You guys, you're not laying down for them unless it's the body electric one and he tells you to lay down. But you're sitting up for meditation. And I know that's a huge resistance for a lot of people. But ask yourself, why are you so resistant? And a lot of the time it's like, oh, it's because it hurts. I can feel my body. And my shoulders hurt and my butt hurts. Me. That's the point. That is the point. And so that's more into the retreat side we'll talk about. But just starting with the progressive, I, started with the progressive and I watched it. And then I did the meditations and I entered this surrender experiment in the summer of 2022. And if you listen to my podcast where I talk about premature ovarian failure, you'll know, or that I was in menopause at 22, you'll know that this was the season that my life really fucking changed. And it's because I got into Joe Dispenza's work of meditating and creating my life and falling in love with life again. I think that's Joe's biggest message, is falling in love with your life again. Because for so long, or for so many people that are attracted to his work, they're coming from extreme health issues. It's kind of hard to be in love with life when you're fucking sitting in a wheelchair all day, you can't walk, or you have cancer. He teaches you not only to heal yourself through meditation, but through embodying this new potential, tuning into new potentials. That was one of the fucking meditations I did. This was the summer that I fucking turned my life around because I was, again, moved out of my hometown. I moved into a new place where I knew no one and started a new life. And I said, wow, how amazing I could put this practice into preach, or practice into teach. Like, I was using the practices I was learning. I don't know what the saying is, you guys. I'm lost, okay? But what I just learned, I was able to put it into practice. That's pretty much what I was getting to the point of. So I moved to this new place, and I'm reminded that I can create the life that I want. And every day I would say, I want to have a mystical experience, because he's all about the mystical experiences. And they would fucking happen. I would walk into a place and make a new friend. And then I would walk into a place, and then I ended up working there for like 5 months. And well, that was the last real job I ever had, but it worked. It was great for the meantime. And I met my best friends there. So I was just in this place where I was manifesting like a fucking millionaire. Like, anything I wanted, I would manifest. I was manifesting fucking free tonics at work, like, every day. Like, just the littlest things that I put in my vision board or in my wants for life and my desires, I was fucking manifesting them. And then I went into the season of dog sitting in $1 million homes and driving Range Rovers, and just in this life of abundance that was solely created from nothing. I created it from literally nothing, just tuning in to new potentials every day, meditating every day, and connecting to that frequency, connecting to the higher self that I so desired to be in. And kind of like how we were talking about time collapses. There's nothing you're reaching out towards for. It's connecting to that higher self and implementing it in your body today. And this is kind of the season I'm in right now, where last year I was just reaching. I kept reaching for this person. And then I realized, oh, I got to fucking become this person. I got to tune in to this frequency every day, this frequency of love, this love for life, this heart's desire. I got to connect to that and see how it feels every single day, and make it mystical and make it my everyday experience. And not just in my meditations, but in my everyday life. When I'm standing in line for coffee, or when I'm having an uncomfortable situation, how can I fall in love with this moment? And this is what he teaches. And I want to say this too. This is not a podcast on giving all the credit to Joe Dispenza. I fucking did the work, people. Okay? He was a goddamn catalyst. He was a guide. But you have to do the work. I did the work, and I am doing the work now, today. So just remind yourself that of going into something new, or going to a week-long retreat, or doing the online progressive, or meditating. Like, it's not them doing the work. It is you doing the work, and they are the guide. Just like I am a guide to you. Maybe I'm guiding you to meditate more, or guiding you to follow someone else. You're not giving the credit to me. You have to go do the work. So you're really giving the credit to yourself. And in the past, doing all these teachings, I used to give credit to the teachers when I was the one doing the work, people. Okay? So I really want to implement that. He's an amazing guide, but you have to do the work, because I know people that have gone to the retreats and then they fall back into their habitual lives again because it's comfortable. Okay? Do you see the difference? You have to embody the work. You can't just learn it. Embody. This is what I'm embodying this year. And I'm embodying a podcaster right now, which is why I'm making all these podcasts this week. And so I did the progressive, had amazing results, and that later manifested into me going to a week-long exactly a year later, because I put forth the energy, the time, the money, the investment myself, and I said, I want to go to a week-long. I have to start baby steps. And it took a year, but I fucking did it, and there was one in Denver. So I bought the online progressive it was February or March of 2022, and then I went to the week-long in July of 2023. So I bought the ticket like a year later from investing in the progressive, because you buy it a few months before. And I remember I bought it in April, and my mom actually went with me, and oh, you guys, it was fucking amazing. It was a week-long advanced retreat. This is the first one you have to go to in person. And yeah, it was life-changing because I allowed it to be. I fully signed up for it. I said, I didn't know what the fuck to expect. I genuinely didn't know what to expect. I had no idea we were doing 3 meditations a day, 8 hours a day of sitting. I'm a girl. Girls like to lay down and meditate, and I had to learn how to fucking sit. In the first 2 days, I remember it was just painful, but I kept it up and I fucking surrendered. And I don't want to spill too many details, but you are sitting a lot and your eyes are closed. And it's a meditation retreat. And it's about 8 hours a day. And they're probably 9 hours now because he likes to push people more. He's a pusher because he believes in you. And you just meet, like, my best friends are from this community. The people you meet, because it's such an investment, are the people you want to be friends with because they're investing in themselves, because they believe in themselves. They want change. They want to fall in love with life. And I want to be friends with people who want to be in love with life. I don't want to be friends with haters, okay? If you're depressed, let's not be friends, okay? Unless you want to change. If you just want to be a victim, I guess what I'm saying is I don't want to be friends with no victims. I was a victim my whole fucking life up until, I don't know, last week. No, I changed before that. But, I've still fallen to it sometimes. Maybe in foreplay. I'm a victim in a foreplay. Anyways, back to the story. Joe Dispenza. So I went to the week long and it, of course, changed my life. And I still talk to the people that I found at the first week long. And then I was like in this Joe Dispenza high. And I'm like, wait, I can create my life. And shit just started, again, fucking manifesting because I started attracting it. Because I started embodying and walking around in the frequency of love, ecstasy. I love life. Life is going to love me back. That's how it works, people. I hate to break it to you. It sounds easier than it is, but it actually is pretty fucking easy. If you just walk around like you're in love with life. And I was kind of thinking about this the other day, like you almost have to be a little bit delusional sometimes. Not delusional in a way where you're covering up or bypassing your emotions, but delusional in a way where you gotta retrain your brain. And sometimes you gotta be a little delusional. But again, what even is delusion anyways? We all have our own meanings of delusion. It's such a thrown around word these days, just like the word spirituality is so thrown around. It's like, what even is delusion anymore? Like that word demure, like everyone was throwing around. I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, I guess everyone has their own meaning for it. I still don't know what it means, you guys. What does demure mean? Demure? Am I even saying that right? But delusion, what does delusion mean to you? Delusion, illusion, I don't know. I use it a lot in a poetic sense, but disillusion, I love that word. I don't even know what it means, but poetically, it's beautiful. So yeah, you want to keep up with the work too. It's like you go to a week long. Is your life going to change? Only if you keep up with the work. And I meditated every single day after that for an hour to an hour and a half. 45 minutes at the least, but I made that fucking commitment and I did it every single day for a year. You guys, 45 minutes out of your day is not that much, okay? Wake up early. I was waking up at 4 a.m. You don't even have to set an alarm. My body, it was like 3:59, I was up. Put my meditation, go back to sleep. And I was just waking up like, oh my God. People were texting me that I just thought of. People were just handing me fucking money. Like, I'm not kidding you. All these opportunities. I had such an abundant year because I was making myself abundant. I was so abundant within myself that I was just attracting like all these opportunities and friendships. And it was just such an amazing season. And then later that year, I went to an advanced follow-up and the same thing. It's like you go deeper into those. And I was putting in the work and I was just living in this frequency of quote unquote my higher self, whatever that means. I was just walking around like I had everything. And then, as time goes by, things naturally fall off. And let's see, 2024 comes around and shit starts spiraling a little bit. I kind of went off my meditations. And then I was like, you know what? I'm being called to go to another week long. But at the same time, I wanted to go to Europe. And it's so interesting because I'm dealing with this in my life right now, with me having to pick and choose what I want to do. And at the time, I was like, well, if I want to go to Europe, I can't go to Joe Dispenza. And then I had this radical thought, why can't I do both? I didn't think I was worth both. And something in me was like, you need to fucking go. And I invested the whatever, how much it is. And then I said, I'm going to Europe too. And my mom was like, you're fucking batshit crazy. But guess what? I did it. The shit that unraveled at that third retreat, that week-long retreat, again, met some of the best friends, best connections. Like, I was writing my book at this time, and the inspiration that was unlocked. And that's what happens when you go into these retreats, is because you let go of your current life and you step into this new reality for just a little bit, and you fully embody it until it's imprinted in you. And I imprinted this frequency that I can have it all. And then I went to Europe a month later, and it was just, I'm wearing my sweater, my Paris sweater. See, the synchronicities like that you can't make that shit up. I'm embodying this, and that's why I'm making this podcast, to just remind myself, to remind you that we are creators of our life. And right now I'm creating, well, I kind of need to create, or I get to create abundance for my life, because I'm going to need to start paying $2,100 a month for my lifestyle. Okay. So that's why I'm making this podcast. I'm embodying the Joe Dispenza cult girly, and people call it cult. Devotion. Is it a cult or is it devotion? Call it whatever you want, but I want to be in the cult. I want to be in the devotion cult. I went to the week-long retreat, and then I went to Europe, and Europe too was a surrender experiment, because I let go of my current habitual life and I stepped into this 28-year-old walking around Europe only taking care of herself for a month. And that's really scary for me and anyone in my family. No one in my family is like this, you guys. It's normal for some people. Like, I have friends who go to Peru for months at a time and go backpacking, but not my family. My mom's never been out of the country. Like, one other person in my family has been out of the country. Like, we just do not, our family just wasn't growing up traveling. If we went on vacation, we would drive 8 hours to a beach, and that was vacation. And so me saying I'm going to leave for a month at a time in a foreign country by myself was like, what the fuck are you doing? You're insane. And it's not insane for other people. I was always getting support from other people, but in my family, that's a little insane. Like, spending that money. And again, didn't even spend that much money. My whole entire Europe trip for 1 month, from the plane, from fucking room and board, I don't know what the fuck you call that, like staying places, from spending money on food, souvenirs, was $3,000 for an entire month. That is less than what average people pay for their living expenses. Like, I manifested free stay in Paris and in Switzerland. I manifested a wicked deal in Barcelona, and I barely spent any money because I really I'm pretty low maintenance, like, when it comes to certain things, like high maintenance in quality, low maintenance in what I actually need. I would just eat really little and only spend money on things I really needed. And so I was able to, you could say, manifest a really affordable Europe trip. $3,000 for a month in Europe for flights and everything, that's really inexpensive. And so part of that was just because I was embodying this, I have it all, I have everything I need, and I am worth it all. And I was worth a trip to Europe. I'm always worth a trip to Europe. I'm going to Europe this year, and I'm still kind of festering on what that's going to look like. But we're not going to talk about that now. We're talking about Daddy Joe. And so I've been to 3 retreats. I would go to another one, and maybe another one is in my realm this year. I'm laughing because of something, but I'm not going to tell you. But uh, maybe there'll be another one or two. But I am embodying this daddy's little girl, Daddy Joe's little girl again, and I'm getting back into my meditations. And as soon as I made that commitment, life changed again. And regardless if you're meditating to his or yourself, this podcast really is centered around self-devotion and what are you devoted to and who is your guide in that. He can be an incredible catalyst in that because he teaches the neuroscience, he teaches the energy work, and he teaches that you can fucking do it if you put your heart and mind to it. Literally, your heart and your mind, that's pretty much what you're connecting to in any of the meditations. And if you've never done a walking meditation, that is a really beautiful carrier to fully embodying your highest self, if you want to call it, with your eyes open, because meditation is eyes closed, blindfolds, you're connecting within. But walking meditations are your connecting with your eyes open and you're walking into it. And your nervous system responds differently when your eyes are open. That's a scientific fact, you could say. I actually learned that from my colonic person. He's like, open your eyes. Your nervous system reacts differently to it. And so when you're walking, you're embodying it. And they just feel good. Like when the music stops and you take your headphones off and you're laying in nature, usually you end the meditations laying down. You're just in bliss because you're like, wait, I just walked with the highest version of myself and it's in my fucking cells. You don't fall back into your old life after that. You can, but if you are constantly doing that every day, your life will change. And the moral of this is really stepping into that highest self, that highest frequency, and living it, living from there every single day. And a 45-minute meditation is going to get you there every day because it's rewiring your brain. Think about his series on Gaia. It's literally called Rewired. We are spiritual beings, but we also are humans and we have a brain and we are created out of energy, but we also are 0.0001% matter. And so his philosophy teaches from changing at an energy standpoint rather than from matter to matter. And I made a reel that should have fucking gone viral. It's on Instagram. And I talk about how if we want the world to change, we have to change our energy. And it sounds so fucking cliche, but I explain it in a neuroscience curriculum. And that is that our cells are made of 99.99999% energy. And that 0.000001% is matter. And that matter is the little nucleus. So if we are made of 99.9999999% energy, we have to shift our energy to change matter instead of trying to change ourselves from matter to matter. And this actually came to me, I think, after a walking meditation, but how supplements, like you're trying to change your body through supplements from matter to matter. Okay? And if we are only made up of 0.000001% matter, how much longer is that going to take rather than just changing your body from an energetic level? That's why energy work is so fucking impactful. That's why combo or plant medicines can be so fucking impactful because it lifts the veil a little bit. You're working with energy, you're not just working with matter. And so you can take a supplement, but it's going to work 1,000 times better if you're tuning into the energetic structure you want to change your body at. And so that's why microdosing works so effectively, because it's working at a conscious level, an energetic level. You can program the mushrooms at a conscious level. And if we are made of mycelium or the elements, just like mycelium is made of the elements, then that's how it changes. And this is not a podcast for microdosing. I could very well be a podcaster on microdosing because I understand consciousness and this planet and the elements. So if you're a microdosing company, hire me. But that's how we change, is through energy. And you can change matter to matter, but how much longer is that going to take when you're working with 0.0001% matter? But if you change through energy, it's not going to be an overnight shift. You're not going to meditate one time and then have $1 million. You're going to have to keep up with that meditation. And so when you're constantly devoted, committed, and you have a community around you that is reminding you of this, or if you're part of a cult that is reminding you to constantly keep falling in love with yourself, falling in love with life, who wouldn't want to be a part of that? I mean, come on. I want to be in love with life. All my friends right now are pretty fucking on that spectrum. We are all on the falling in love with life spectrum. And if you want to be a part of that spectrum, you just have to decide. And you can decide at any moment. And if you are seriously broke as a fucking joke, which I doubt it because you probably have an iPhone and you're listening to this off of a fucking iPhone, and you can't afford his meditations, which again, I was at a place where $25 for a meditation was like a lot of money. Start somewhere else. Insight Timer is amazing, free app. You can find a meditation teacher you like. I stray away from YouTube because you don't know what frequencies they're kind of putting into those YouTubes. I don't want to scare you, but I also just want to give you the best case scenario. And so I think you can trust apps better, like Insight Timer, Calm. Seems like a really fucking cool app. You do have to invest in that and pay for that. I personally don't pay for my meditations or apps because I've been to enough retreats that people just give me their meditations. And that's kind of what happens when you go to these retreats, is you become a part of a clan or a cult and you share meditations. And so I do have access to those meditations, but there was a point in my life where I did buy the meditations. And when you do put your money towards something like that, you want to do it more. And so, okay, $25 for a meditation for some people can seem really outrageous. And I understand. I get you. Trust me, I've come from poverty. Like, I understand how that could be a big stretch. But think of the investment. If I pay $25 for this, if I do it 25 times, that's $1. But I bet you're going to do it more than 25 times. You do it every single day. His meditations are pretty enjoyable to the point where I've done the same one every day for a month now, and I still am like, I love it. And you really only need a couple. I think maybe the morning and night meditations might be a good start. Or see if you can preview them on the website, or just start with Insight Time, or start with something free. See if you even like meditation. You might not even like it. But if you don't like it, I am going to encourage you to explore why you don't like it. Is it uncomfortable? Is it just different? Is it change? And why don't you want to do it? Is this your ego getting involved? Or, really ask the question, why don't you like meditation? I had a friend who couldn't even meditate for 5 minutes. And she fucking signed up for a week-long retreat. And she fucking did the whole thing. She showed up every day. And I don't want to speak for her and say that it changed her life, but I know she had great results, and she said she really loved it. And so sometimes the most courageous thing you got to do is to just do something super uncomfortable. And maybe that uncomfortable is spending $25 on a meditation. That's really uncomfortable for me right now. For someone who needs to somehow have $2,100 falling out of their ass by May every month, any money towards anywhere right now feels a little uncomfortable. And so that's why I'm getting back into my practices and helping or reminding myself feel safe in investment, abundance, and know that God's got me. And that if I can connect to that unknown, I can connect to God every day and remind myself or breathe into that uncertainty and teach myself that it is safe to be in that uncertainty, that's when shit really starts to change. And that's when magic happens. And that's when your life becomes mystical. So I hope this landed for you and it encourages you to explore new things about yourself and new ways of expression. I don't know why I really just wanted to say that. Expression, meditation, like, is that even the same thing? I don't know. I guess I got into his work because I wanted to explore expression and I wanted to be creative, and it resulted in me just needing to connect with myself. So maybe that's the rounding out of this message. And that's how and why intuition works in ways logic can't explain. And sometimes I say things that I don't think make sense, but they actually make sense for other people, or they make sense at the end. And so there's that. There's me expressing. So yeah, go fucking meditate. Go listen to some music, because music in the meditations is great. Again, this is not a Joe Dispenza changed my life. It's a I changed my life, and Joe Dispenza was the catalyst. And I encourage you to go change your life and find your catalyst. Am I your catalyst? If I am, write me a review, please. Because there's only 2 reviews on my podcast, and one of them is from me. Okay. So anyways, thank you so much for being here. I adore you guys. And I guess cheers to the podcast rampage this week. And if you have not heard from me for a minute, I'm probably at an ashram in India. Okay? Okay, anyways, you guys, great epi. We'll see you later. Bye!